Being able to love ourselves is definitely one of the greatest things in life. The ability to accept who we are as a person or to forgive our past mistakes are one of many abilities that we can do when we love ourselves. But why is self-love so difficult to do? Well, it has to. Anything that is ever worth it to someone will come with challenges and even tough opponents to fight against. When it comes to loving ourselves, you might experience some of the biggest challenges you've ever faced, and you might encounter an enemy that you previously never thought of. In this video, I'm going to share with you the challenges that made self-love difficult and reveal to you who that mysterious enemy is. But for now, I'll give you a hint on who that is. You could probably guess who that is, but let me tell you why they're much more difficult to fight against now than ever before. I think it's not a secret that technology and social media has become a major influence in our lives, so much so that it made us more connected to each other than in previous years. While there are obvious benefits to being able to connect with others, this increase in connection also created a negative effect. You could say that it's the dark side of the same coin. Generally, when we share something online about ourselves, chances are we're more likely to share something positive instead of something negative, like a new car or our latest trip to Tokyo, for example. So it kind of gives off this sense of perfection, that everybody's lives are full of joy and amazing things. But the truth is, there are struggles and down moments in each of our lives. Some may be more severe than others, but most are kept to ourselves. For someone who's not aware of this behavior, they might think that they're missing out in life or think that their friends are doing much better than them. Sometimes, even when we're aware of this behavior, we might still compare our situations to that of our friends or people online. Which leads me to the first challenge of the path to self-love. And that is, we often compare ourselves to other people. For those of us who use social media quite often and struggle to love themselves, it can be difficult to not think about, damn, I wish I was there, or man, I wish I was doing what they're doing when scrolling through other people's posts. When we compare ourselves to other people, we essentially do two things that hurt us. One is that we downplay our own achievements and efforts, and two, we made our current situations worthless compared to others. So basically, by doing this, we're not giving ourselves a chance to grow because our achievements and efforts may seem tiny, and we might view our life as hopeless when we don't live the same way to the others we compare ourselves to. But I think we have to remember that each and every one of us have done some amazing things even though we might think of them as being less. It could be graduating high school, getting your first job, or ranking up in a game that you hate so much. Also, the achievement of others or the things that other people have might have come from a lot of hard work behind the scenes. And even if there's a chance that their achievements are gained easily through privilege or illegal ways, we will gain nothing from assuming or thinking about it, and we're much better off focusing on ourselves. But what is it to focus on when we try to love ourselves? Well, here's the second challenge that you have to face. We might not really understand what self-love is to begin with. Is it treating ourselves to a nice dinner, a vacation to Europe, or is it something else? Self-love is certainly more than that, so while a vacation to Europe is a form of self-love, there are more important things to consider and actions needed to be performed. I believe that self-love or loving yourself means 1. Fully accepting all of your quirks, positives, and negatives. 2. Giving yourself time to nurture your growth as a person. And 3. Treating yourself with kindness and respect. I know that this is a lot to take in, and there's no expectation for you to understand what to do immediately. I mean, heck, where do you even start? Well, I might have a suggestion for that. You see, most things that are internal to us can be solved or explored by having a discussion with ourselves. My suggestion is for you to ask yourself questions regarding the things that I've mentioned about self-love and talk to yourself about them. Now, this process is going to be difficult at first, especially if you've never done this before, so my advice is to give yourself time, start small, and ask simple questions. For example, when you're asking yourself about how you treat yourself, you can start with, what kind of small things that I could do to end my day a bit better? If you have a bit of a problem answering these kind of questions, you can frame it in a way that is directed towards your closest friend or family. Like, how can I make my dad end his day a bit better? And try to apply it to you. I know this sounds tough, but I promise that the more discussions you'll have, the easier it gets and the more you know about yourself when it comes to self-love. At this point of the video, you probably have guessed who the mysterious enemy is. Yep, it's ourselves, or more specifically, it's you. I believe that most of the time, the person who's stopping us from growing or loving ourselves is us. Because no words nor thoughts hurts deeper than the one we tell ourselves. So as you continue forward on this path of self-love, you might remind yourself of past mistakes, make arguments against yourself, or convince yourself that you're not worth loving. But just because you made those mistakes doesn't mean they make your worth, nor does the arguments that made sense then will be right in the future. I believe we're worth whatever we decide us to be, and we have to accept the fact that we're always gonna make mistakes at some point in the future. After all, not accepting this fact is gonna put too much pressure on ourselves, which is not the goal. Which leads us to our third challenge, which is putting high expectations on us to love ourselves. Whether it's fitness or career goals, high expectations can make the journey a lot more stressful. It can even lead to the desire of becoming perfect in every step. In the case of self-love, there shouldn't be a specific target that you need to achieve, no deadlines to finish by, or a certain standard that you need to get. It is a continuous journey with the general goal of learning more about yourself, accepting what you are, nurturing your growth, and always treating yourself with kindness and respect. So as long as you're alive, you have the privilege of being on this journey, and there's no need for you to feel pressure to understand everything as fast as possible. You can take your time and you can take as many steps as you need, and if you haven't started already, start now. Now, starting anything can become a challenge, especially if you don't have any relevant experience to what you're starting. For the last challenge, you might encounter this one during or even before starting to take on the journey of self-love. And that is, we wait for the perfect moment or condition to start or continue loving ourselves. I believe this challenge is one that's very common in other journeys, simply because we tend to think that the best time to start something is when everything is perfect. Perfect weather, perfect timing, no problems, no major responsibilities, etc. I can't lie, walking to the gym in a sunny yet cool weather sounds perfect, but just because it's raining and windy doesn't mean we stop going to the gym. I don't think there's always gonna be a perfect time, moment, or conditions to start anything. And waiting for one is basically denying yourself the opportunity to start loving yourself earlier. So start with something small and easy to get you going. There's no need for you to make major steps in the beginning, as long as you keep taking those steps. Remember, self-love is a journey that will continue for as long as you live, and every step you take will enable you to learn more about yourself and love every bit about yourself. And as time goes on, you'll realize that being able to love ourselves doesn't mean that our life is fixed or perfect moving forward. Instead, it means that you're able to accept who you are as a person, nurture your own growth, and treat yourself with kindness and respect as you ride all the waves that life throws at you. And those were the challenges of self-love. Thanks for watching the video. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more videos like this. And as always, stay awesome.